Spotlight on growing internal tensions within the Accord Party as a deepening rift between the party's national chairman, Professor Chris Imumolen, and Osun State Governor, Senator Adeleke, raises questions about unity, leadership, and the party future's direction. The crisis, now drawing national attention, is believed to center on issues of control, loyalty, and political structure within the Accord Party in Osun State, following Governor Adeleke's defection from the People's Democratic Party to Accord ahead of the list governorship election. Sources within the party say tensions intensified over disagreements bordering on party leadership, candidate selection, and strategic decision-making, with both camps accusing each other of sidelining party's core values and founding principles. While Professor Chris Imumolen insists that the Accord Party must remain institutionally strong and ideologically driven, allies of Governor Adeleke argue that the governor's political influence and electoral success should be adequately reflected in the party's internal arrangement. The disagreement has reportedly resulted in parallel meetings, conflicting public statements, and rising dissatisfaction among party members, particularly in Osun State. Efforts to de-escalate the situation are said to be ongoing, with party elders and key stakeholders calling for resistant dialogue and unity to avert a full-blown breakdown. Of course, political analysts warn that if the crisis lingers, it could weaken the party's cohesion and undermine its prospect in future elections. To help unpack these issues, clarify positions, and explore the way forward, I'm joined by the National Chairman of the Accord Party, Chris Imumolen. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much, TVC, for having me on your program.
Okay, so just to get straight to it, some have argued that electoral victory should translate into greater influence within the party. Do you agree with this position, looking at what is happening currently in Accord?
Yes, again, thank you. Electoral victory is commendable and should be respected as far as I'm concerned, but it does not supersede the party's constitution or collective leadership structure. You know, political parties must exercise institutional strength, rules, and shared value, not based on individual power or matter of popularity or success of candidates that emerge members of the party. You know, the major challenge that arises from electoral success is interpreting a party as being owned by individuals who, for example, what we have currently happening in Accord Party, move into Accord and they want to take over the party. I think we see this happen in that party. But for us, we must interpret this electoral success more as stewardship rather than ownership. This mindset can weaken internal democracy, like what we see. You see one other faction who is claiming leadership of Accord, suspending another faction who is also in the race with it. You see, this is an abject, what we call it, contempt of court, where a case is still in court. The court have determined by court order who takes leadership of the party. INEC, which is the party to that ruling, has refused to grant that order. You see, so, and you see this happening. Internal democracy is weakening and it marginalizes grassroots membership. In Accord Party today, we are doing our best to making sure that we are able to grow the grassroots membership. But when parallel power structure that threaten unities and long-term stability, you know, these are summations of what happened when electoral victory is not properly managed. Okay. And what we are doing is to see how we can transmugate what we are having in Accord today to a more proper victory in a general landscape. So we don't have the coming in of new members who are coming into the party destabilize the party totally, but rather we must use the new membership coming to the party to build the party and build its formation to a national geographical structure in helping the party attaining more strength.
Okay, so, you know, talking about the crisis and how this has generated a lot of national attention. Is it about personalities, or is it about protecting the institution integrity of the Accord Party? Because if you look at what has happened in the last 1 month, it's looking like the individuals are obstructing the institution of the party. And the party on the other side is saying there must be a line. How do you address this?
You know, the crisis is not about personality. It is not. We must fundamentally explain that it's about protecting, like you have said, the institutional integrity, constitution, and sovereignty of Accord. You know, my Professor Chris Imumolen, being recognized through a valid national convention, Professor Chris Imumolen, as the court has also ordered that my chairmanship should be recognized by INEC. So what is happening today is not about person. Any other person would have also been confronted with the challenge we have today if the right thing is not done. What we are just trying to do is to make Nigeria know, and is to make the world know, that our third party is under a leadership of Professor Christopher Imumolen as the national chairman. And that has been validated through the convention that was conducted last year, and also through the court order that was obtained. Though we still have the case for final determination in the Federal High Court. You know, so it is not about person. It is not about person. Accord. We want members to come in. We are large-hearted. We want members to come in, but however, we want it to be done rightly, so that in the future, the nearest future, we understand the political narration. Our members, our candidates will not have problem with litigation. That is what we are doing.
You have the case of the governor of Osun State, who has now picked from a faction of your party, who have now picked the ticket. Then you have from your own, you as a national chairman, you also have, if I can remember, Boyega as the candidate of your party as well. How do Accord want to solve this situation, knowing that in months to come, the election in Osun State is very clear? You know, is it a matter of the influence of the governor? Can he boost the party? Or is the fact that the candidates that has emerged from the premise that you did will still go ahead as to be the party candidate?
You know, there is rule of law in every country. The court is the hope of every common man, the last hope. So yes, despite the fact that we have our internal reconciliation and mediation processes, we have the NEC, who deliberates on matters like this. We have disciplinary and appeal processes. In case of conflict resolution, party has organ to resolve this conflict, which is ongoing. But however, the truth must stand. The truth is that the faction which is recognized by law, must do the right thing. That is what we stand for. Our candidate, the candidate of Accord, which is Clement Kolawole Boyega, has been duly has gone through the primaries and has been nominated as the party candidate. And we submitted reports to INEC, and we are looking forward to campaigning. And whatever happens after that, we pray that God gives us victory. For us, we just want the best for our party. We have struggled. We've been in this party. We've contributed the best we can for past years. Yes, we might not necessarily be part of those that started this party, but it is not how far, it's how well. Ever since we've been here, a lot have been done. And we want to see that our party metamorphose into national realities in terms of successes, and it's our joy. And that is what we are doing. We are open-hearted to welcoming more reconciliation, more members coming into Accord. As you can see, in all parties today, there are challenges here and there. Accord is peaceful, if not that the Master faction who is claiming leadership for what I don't understand. They don't have any paper that even affirmed them as a leader, except for the Kangaroo convention they said they held, which was not held at the venue, which was not held anywhere. They only wrote a report, and because of one or two persons that they know in INEC, they were able to influence those decisions they do. But we are on it. We'll be having a meeting with INEC to see how this matter can be put to bear. We are still in the Federal High Court to making sure that we have final determination before the Osun State election, and we are doing all that we can to save our party. That is what I can say.
Okay, let me ask you this. What if in the case of come maybe January 8th when the Federal High Court, for example, say, okay, you are now the chairman, authentic chairman, sanction it. I'm saying, would you or Clement Boyega, if you guys have meeting with the governor of Osun State, would you be ready to say, okay, we can now incorporate, bring you into the fold? Would Boyega on the other side be able to say, I want to sacrifice the governorship ticket for Governor Adeleke?
I want you to know, every human being on earth has the right to aspire. Aspiration to become somebody in life is not zoned to some particular people. I'm not saying this thing out of enviness or hatred, no. I'm saying it is out of clear reality. Anybody in life have the right to aspire. So if Clement Kolawole aspire to become a governor, he should be given the opportunity to become. He should be given the opportunity to vie. Every man in life have the capacity and the right to aspire. That is one of the principles we stand for. So for us, we have done our primaries, our candidate have emerged. We are looking up to making sure that we solidify his candidacy, and we do a nice campaign as a party to see the opportunities and the chances of accord, yes, reclaiming the governorship of Osun State. And we are serious about this. Many people have said, "Oh, why is it now? Why was it not before now when the governor came?" Yeah, it's an opportunity. Something must bet something to happen. The governor of Osun coming to accord bettered this process as it reignites this to make him more affirmed. Fine, it is a new dawn for us, and it is to make sure that Clement Boyega, who is aspiring to become a governor, is giving all the support that the party should give him. However, whatever happens in the future it belongs to God. God is the one that determines what we all will become. God is the one that determines what will become of us. So we are looking up to him, and we are doing the right thing according to our conscience and according to the law of the land. So that is what I would also say about that question.
Okay.
We believe that the case in federal court is not to make federal court affirm me. I'm already the national chairman of the party by convention, by the court order that was granted by the FCTI court. The purpose of taking the case again to federal court is because of the fact that INEC refused to recognize order from federal from High Court. I don't know where in the world where an order is given and an agency will refuse to grant it. Then what is the essence of law? That means there is no law. Even if they say it is what's it called, an order that lasts for 7 days. Even if it's 1 day, an order is an order. It's granted by the court of law. So that is the reason why. So we are revisiting those things. I'm the national chairman, and we are doing everything to stamp that.
Okay. We'll go on a break. Professor Chris Imumolen is still with us. When we come back, we'll still have more for you on politics on Sunday. Don't go over right back. The national chairman of the Accord Party, Professor Chris Imumolen, and we'll be discussing the issues befriending the party in the last 2 months. Professor, I also want to ask you now, if you look at it, what mechanism does the party have in place to resolve the disputes, between the national leadership, of recent, and of course, whatever is happening with the people in Osun State?
The Constitution of Accord have a clear mechanism to resolving issues, including internal reconciliation and mediation committee, which has been set up. The NEC, which is the National Executive Council deliberation, which we have oftentimes, given years to matters like this, and to see how we can come to a common ground to resolving this matter. But this matter has been made stiffer by the other faction who went ahead to suspend illegally, claiming that our faction was, which of course does not have any legal ground, because a matter that is still in court would not talk. So that is null and void. So that case that was made stiffer by that pronunciation. What we should have done ordinarily is to also counter-suspend all of them. But for peace, which is rare political strategy, we met, we calm it to further allow those, because we cannot do accord alone. We need everybody, wherever they are, who has good intention for the party to come in and making sure that this party becomes a formidable party for especially the 2027 general election and the election we have now in Osun, Ekiti, and other states that we're planning to go in for. So we also have a disciplinary and appeal committee, which often are set up to looking at issues like this that have been done. There have been mediation to embracing the other faction. Can we look at these things? Can we come up to a common ground? But of course, as it is now, the only hope we have now is to ensure that we also approach the courts. The court is a ground where those that want peace, those that want harmony, will go to ensuring that we can look at the internal process of the courts. For example, when we got the court order, yes, said it was in the court order that says INEC should recognize my person as the chairman of the party. The other faction appealed to the court order, and what they were granted was not a vacation of that court order. So if INEC had complied by the court order today, my name would have been on the INEC list. Then they would need another court order to vacate it, which was not vacated. So that would have been a contention now. So what they got was nothing that the party status quo should remain. And what is status quo? Status quo clearly means that the state of the party before coming to court, which is I am the national chairman of the party. So we listened to the what's it called, the media broadcast that was done by the faction, where they claim a whole lot of lies, and which was not tenable, So for me, we have exhausted, we are still using all medium necessary to harmonize the party, and we continue to do all those things. And we pray that our efforts to harmonize the party, especially to co-opt the other faction, which I believe they've been in the party also. They've also added one or two value to the party. Of course, I'm not a politician that totally would discard people's efforts. They've been there, they've been, but of course, the right standing should be the right standing. The truth should be the truth. And as a political party, that is what myself and my huge followers all over the country in our court party is crying for.
What's your take on Davido joining the party? Because he also said he wants to do that.
No, it's good. We need Davido joining the party. Davido is a big name in terms of entertainment, so it's helping to publicize the party. So whether he joins from any other faction, what matters is that the name Accord is everywhere in Nigeria. We love it. But the only caution, which I also sent a media to their team, is that make sure that it's done the right way. Yes, you are helping the party to promote our name. We love it so much. We need more of. But who lose at the end of the day? When you have promoted the party name, the party has gotten more recognition, and at the end of the day, you are not able to achieve your aim. That is my pain. I am not a leader that would lie to those who want to join. I will tell you the truth, because I have also contested as a candidate. Many of those leadership in the other faction, none of them are contested. They are more like political, just make use candidates. That was what almost happened to myself when I contested on this platform as a presidential candidate. What we are doing today is to correct all the abnormalities that we have experienced and to making sure that the right thing is done. You can ask people like the current minister of power. He contested as the gubernatorial kind of the party in Oyo State. As a matter of fact, these same people who were the caretaker committee under the national secretary were the same people that went on the media a week to his election to denounce him, a party member, somebody Adeleke that contested as a gubernatorial candidate, and these same people when they went on air and because of political reasons, and this is the same thing they are doing to Adeleke, and we will not allow that to happen. The right thing must be done. Accord, we grow. That is what we stand for.
Okay, so this will be my last question to you, and this has to do with how damaging is this standoff, between the two factions, and what it portends for the election of Osun State, and how can it be finally remedied? Because the most important thing, like you said, is that your party wants to win an election in Osun State. So how do you think that this standoff can finally be quenched?
Okay, let me say this. Even if the current governor use the ticket he has with him, which is invalid, and he eventually maybe wins, for example, now, I'm just saying, he will have serious legal issue. So what we are doing now is solving a problem that will last for long. We've seen this happen in Zamfara. We've seen this happen in River State in time past, where candidates have been feeded wrongly. They won the election, and the party loses out. That is the same thing that happened here. So we are trying to correct it. Mind you, I want you to know, when you want a permanent solution, even if you want to grow a seed, the seed will die first before germinating. So we might be in that situation now where Accord is experiencing what's it called, rejuvenation, so that it can spring up and bring that life. So I would not say it's damaging. Where were we before even Adeleke? We were party that we were alone. I was the major supporter of this party, funding every structure of this party for the last 3 years. Single-handedly, with some few members in River State, yes, we have, and some other members here and there. But I was the major person doing so. So if at this point you will call this region damaging, now we are in the national limelight, and this is happening. For me, it's a good rejuvenation that will bring us back to limelight and get things corrected. It is wisdom in display. That is what I would call it. We should not be in a hurry to clinch. Okay, Governor Adeleke has not done me anything. I will tell him I don't have any personal issue with him. Davido is one person everybody loves in Nigeria. We listen to his music. So, but if things were have been done rightly, we shouldn't be in this position today. We need things to be done rightly. A gubernatorial candidate have been validly nominated, who is Clement Kolawole, and we are going in to making sure that we do all we can to make him elected as the next governor for Osun people.
Ultimately, the future of Accord Party may well depend on its ability to choose dialogue over division and institutions over individuals. As Nigeria's democracy continues to evolve, how political parties manage internal conflicts such as remains a critical test of leadership, maturity, and democratic culture. That's why we draw the curtain on this edition on Politics on Sunday. Thank you very much, Professor Chris Imumolen, for joining us on the show. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And that's what we have to do for